first just want to thank you all for being here, for taking time out of your night to come and watch us all present. My name is Laura Soley. This is Sean Soley, John Webb, and Michael Stepovich. We have partnered alongside of Cold Climate Housing Research Center to help move forward in sustaining northern communities by strengthening nonprofits by reducing energy costs.
The mission of CCHRC is to promote and advance the development of healthy, durable, and sustainable shelter for Alaskans and other circumpolar people. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to make sure that nonprofit organization buildings are most energy efficient. And with that money they save, they can in turn use it to give back to the community and other people by their programs. CCHRC has partnered with the 4Acre Group and the Rasmussen Foundation for funding in order to do their operations. The Rasmussen Foundation, their mission is supporting nonprofit organizations and cautious use of resources. They were started in 1955 and annually they give out $20 million. This is given out in a PRI, which is a public related investment, and it's through a revolving loan fund. So as the money goes out, it comes back, and that's how they renew it. The 4Acre Group, their mission is helping Alaska nonprofits focus on sustainability. And they are dedicated to increasing the leadership and management skills of professionals and volunteers in Alaska. The way they receive their money is from government funding such as state-funded grants, and they also receive a lot of money from the Rasmussen Foundation. The reason these three groups work great together is because they all want to help people and they all want nonprofits to be a big part of the community. And by doing energy audits to see what's wrong with buildings and stuff like that, they're able to save money and use that money to help people and help out organizations statewide.
Like any project or program, of course there's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that come alongside of it. And of course this is a great idea. It's a nonprofit wanting to help out other nonprofits to save money so they can use that money to further their mission. And so some of the strengths are partnering with the 4Acre Group, partnering with the Rasmussen Foundation, the community connections through upper management through CCHRC, knowledge of the industry, access to the information, access to financing, and access to skilled workers. And also probably one of the biggest strengths, of course, is the long-term profitability, because getting that profit, it allows them, of course, like I said before, to be able to further their mission and take it, and help them get more involved in the community. Of course, there's also weaknesses. Some of the weaknesses are the cost, the short-term profitability. Of course, like most programs, you don't see it right away, but the profitability comes through time. Ownership of the resources and the infrastructures, resources and organizational skills to motivate target audience. And probably one of the biggest weaknesses is unforeseen political or economic relatives of lowering energy use. This is a big weakness because, if you're working for a nonprofit, let's say, Junior Achievement, and they're focusing, their energy bill is a certain amount of money, and so they're trying to go out there and get the money to be able to pay for that energy bill, but then all of a sudden they retrofit their building, and so their energy bill decreases. They might not have the incentive to go out and still get that money, but that is what that is what we want. We want them to still seek funding. We want them to still seek the profit that they get from companies locally, because that money will help them be able to further their mission. And so that's probably one of the biggest weaknesses, is we still want the incentive of the people working for the nonprofit to go out and still get the money. And then these are some of the opportunities. It opens up and expands nonprofits' missions. Like I said, the money that they're saving by retrofitting their building, they're allowed to use to further their missions. It lessens environmental impacts. The Rasmussen Foundation can make loans more affordable, reducing the risk to the private investor. It strengthens nonprofits' relationship, and of course the time. It's a really hot time for renewable energy. That's a big topic right now, and so it's a great time for something like this to be moving forward. Of course, there are threats. Weakened economy is one of them. Loss of government funding, competition among companies that offer energy audits, and time is also a threat because someone that is, running a nonprofit, they have tons to do because nonprofits don't make any money. A lot of the people working for the nonprofits take on jobs that, profit companies may pay someone to do. And so there's a lot of responsibility for the people working for nonprofits. And so for them to take time out of their day to maybe, take someone to do an energy audit, that's, that can definitely be a threat because not a lot of people maybe want to take that time, especially since it's more focused on long-term profitability. So this is an assessment of needs diagram. Basically what it shows is organizations seeking retrofit financing. As you can see, institutional buildings, commercial buildings, small businesses, there's a lot of opportunities to have financing for retrofit. But as you can see, non-for-profits, they don't have any. And so that's really what this program is doing. We're trying to get the financial, the finances to be able to pay for the retrofit, to be able to pay for the energy audits. And non-profits really help out our community. They are really involved in our community, and they're a benefit to most people, in here. Junior Achievement, works in our schools and it educates our students, and they could be using the money that they'll be saving if they, if their energy bill is lower. They could be using that to, educate 10 more students or further their mission, and that's the main goal. We want to help nonprofits help themselves. And so that's really what this program is there's not anything right now to finance it, but that is the goal of this program.
Well, some of the benefits to owning your own building: you can make needed changes to your infrastructure without the need to get permission from others. Since you don't need to get permission and or to give stage-by-stage progress reports, the time to complete the project is significantly lessened, which saves a lot of money in the long run. And even though you spend money in the short term, it's really an investment in the long term. And it's because of those energy savings. Some of the barriers to invest in a retrofit, according to our survey, were the lack of cost and benefit info. Many organizations simply aren't educated about how they can save money long term, so of course they don't invest. Others simply don't think they can afford the audit, let alone a retrofit, and they don't know where to obtain the financing. And there's also the costs. The costs, administration, everybody knows it's not over till the paperwork's done. And since, in administrative costs, that's anything from secretaries to, well, there's a lot of administrative costs. Architectural and engineering designs include making sure the right materials are planned for. They do stress analysis, durability testing, efficiency planning. Construction, and construction is a huge cost, and some of the things that add to it. I have a friend who once told me, he's in the construction industry, he's a general contractor, and he told me, architects and engineers, and this is a literal quote, architects and engineers are the bane of my existence. And the reason that is because, let's say the door over there. The engineers and the architects, they plan that. They have it all down perfectly on paper, and it works great on paper. Then they hand it to the construction guys, and the construction guys take one look at it and say, no, it's not going to work. And they have this big argument that say, yeah, it works. Trust me, it works. And so the construction guys go ahead and build the door, and the bottom is 2 inches off the floor. And the general contractors knew that would happen because they've had experience for many, many years. So there's always that constant battle, and so when they finally build that door, the change orders come and they say, yeah, I told you it wouldn't work. So they have to fix that, fix all the other stuff, and that increased costs as well. Energy audit, the energy audit costs vary, but they're and it depends on the size of the nonprofit. Some nonprofits are very, very small. They only need, the energy audit's only going to cost them a few $100s. Some are huge, and their energy audit's going to cost as much as $50,000. So the costs vary for each organization. And finally, construction materials, which of course part of the construction, and inspection fees.
Okay. Moving on to the action plan. The first step in this action plan will be taken by the Foraker Group, and that will be to do a pre-screening analysis. And in this pre-screening analysis, they're going to assess the organizational potential for energy retrofit success. And then moving forward, CCHRC will then work with the Rasmussen Foundation to receive financial backing for the nonprofits within the program. And then together, the three partners, the Rasmussen Foundation, Cold Climate Housing Research Center, and the Foraker Group, will present optimal loan packages. And from then on, CCHRC will educate and prepare the nonprofits to go out and actually apply for those loans in the community. From then on, after receiving the loans, hopefully they'll receive them at a low interest rate, Cold Climate Housing Research Center will coordinate with engineers, builders, and contractors to perform an energy audit. And then from then on, the MPO will actually have to select a plan. Having all the information in front of them, they'll have to choose which one they think is best for their model. So when they select a plan, CCHRC will then negotiate with the contractors, builders, engineers, and such to provide and form an energy efficient upgrade. And when I say upgrades, there's a difference between upgrades and retrofits. Retrofits could be more so like, in higher dollar amounts, like an HVAC system, whereas something like an upgrade could be as simple as replacing the thermometers in a building or buying more energy efficient light bulbs. So there's a difference between the two, and often they come at different times throughout the process. Upgrades are obviously more cost effective and can be done on a daily basis, so we'll see these things in the short term, whereas the retrofits will come in the later term. So moving on into there you go. Oh, sorry, moving on. That was just another in-depth look at the program stages. It just breaks it down into 3 steps, kind of in the same way that I did. So here are some pictures, and this is kind of the conclusion area. In conclusion, as we know, in the economy, the global market and such, energy prices are skyrocketing, they're high. And with this comes a lot of financial burden on nonprofits, as we've said. This is often, contracting their mission plan. So for instance, like this is really affecting the Fairbanks Dance Theater here in Fairbanks. They just received a building from the state. It was the old fire department. And as it is a beautiful building, it creates a very good dance floor for them and all those things. It's kind of a money pit. It costs an extremely large amount for them to keep this in the months of January, February, and such. And as we can see here, you have 2-3 girls and an instructor. And as they can continually come up with these financial constraints, these instances like this are going to, they're not going to exist in the community anymore. And this is a huge issue, I think, because nonprofits are a really good thing within communities because they're able to kind of mold themselves to the community and find the exact need for that community, rather where a government, I think, has kind of a bigger scope and that can often, I think in a sense, nonprofits really benefit a community in that sense. Also on top of this project is a new project, so there's a lot of uncertainties and there's a lot of what ifs. As time goes on, these are being answered and there's solutions, and as there's more community involvement, government involvement and such, CCHRC is able to create solutions for these. But I think what's really important as there are these uncertainties, it's really the timing of this project is really key here. As we know, energy efficiency is a huge issue in the global markets here in Alaska, especially within the nonprofit sector. And I think that hitting at this trend, Cold Climate Housing Research Center and their partners, the Rasmussen Foundation, can really seek to gain interest in the community, and I think this is something that could really benefit in this in the long term. A little bit more, we've got some actual examples of some retrofits or actually some auditing that was going on. This is at the Fairbanks Dance Theater, and one of the engineers here took a dive into the installation, checking the quality and such. And then moving on, this is the actual boiler room of the Fairbanks Dance Theater. And as you can see, it's extremely outdated along with the building, and this creates for high energy costs. Right here they have a classroom where they're trying to teach, and right here you see there's 2 utilidors in which they used to bring in old fire trucks. Those are just like heating the outside. In certain places actually, in other nonprofits, I believe it was the Carol Bryce Center, they had a crack in their flooring where they're legitimately just heating the outside. You just go on the outside and you can just watch it funnel out. So I mean, these places are outdated, and retrofits are very important and necessary at this time. So what they've done in some instances, what they've ended up doing is putting up, plywood and insulating it themselves, just doing little upgrades on their own. But then this, also plays into the aesthetic, the appeal and all. And right here we have the Boys and Girls, or I'm sorry, this is the Girl Scouts building downtown. It's just showing some malfunction in at least the framing in the gap right here. They're losing energy right there. This would obviously be something that they would look to improve in the near future. And these are our references. All together, we had a great time working on this project. The Cold Climate Housing Research Center did a great job with interacting with us, specifically Danny. We got to learn a lot about a lot of cool things and be involved in a project I think that's very important for Alaska and that is going to either move forward or it won't. And I think, as Danny has said many times, it's essential. And if we want to continue to see places like the Fairbanks Dance Theater provide opportunities and dance lessons like that, the community and the funding for this needs to happen. The developing is important. Also like to thank Jack Hebert for helping us with this project, and you guys for showing up tonight, and my group members for helping out with the project. It was a pleasure. Thank you.